Coming up on SUTV, we'll give you an update on the coronavirus here in the U.S.
And the discovery of a body in Canaryville. Stay tuned.
Welcome to SUTV. I'm Thomas Dianella.
And I'm Olivia Thornock. The International Office of Southern Utah University is finally ready to release its promo video just in time for Leadership Week. Our anchor, Yuri Bertocki, has the story.
ISA is one of the most important organizations on campus of the Southern Utah University. ISA has been an organization that offers so many opportunities for international students to engage with the American culture and much more. The marketing director, Emily Forshee, has been leading the organization for a while, and let's see what she has to say.
ISA is one of the most incredible organizations at Southern Utah University because it's creating a bridge from Cedar City to the rest of the world. We are bringing students from different cultures, different religions, different backgrounds, different families, different experiences, and they're all coming together to share their stories.
According to Emily Forshee, the marketing director, ISA is the best organization on campus of Southern Utah University, and Leadership Week is coming up. ISA will for sure participate during Leadership Week in order to win and hopefully win the award for the best organization on campus. We decided to interview a few members of the ISA, and Said Luante, an international student from Mexico, decided to speak.
ISA is about getting students that are already here on campus, helping upcoming international students and international students that have already been here a while, and making sure that they get adjusted not only to campus but just the U.S. culture. And on top of that, just helping them with any resources that they need.
Hopefully, ISA will win the award as the best organization on campus. For SUTV News, I'm Yuri Bertocchi.
Sheriff deputies in Iyer County are trying to identify the body of a man found near Canaryville Saturday afternoon. Deputies responded to the report of a body found around 1 p.m. on Saturday in a field north of Canaryville. The cause of death is not known, but officials said it may be due to the cold weather. Detectives said they believe the man to be about 20 years old and that he did not live in the area. Due to the circumstances, the process of identifying the man could take several months.
Cedar City's Top Spot restaurant and gas station has recently reopened after 4 years of being closed. Being that Top Spot had been open since the 60s, new owner Bobby Aubring decided it was time to reopen the restaurant and keep it a town favorite. Owner Bobby Aubring has kept the menu the same with a few additional sides, salads, and shakes. Top Spot's famous cow will return back to its original spot on the roof for the grand opening. The grand opening is projected to be within the next few weeks once the menu is finalized. Cashier and daughter Aubriana Aubring has a rundown of Top Spot.
Some great things about Top Spot is they have great food, their shakes are really good, and they have good drinks. Really good place to fuel up, really great environment, and we have a convenience store here, and it's a really great place to hang out.
So, I had a really good banana cream pie shake from Top Spot, and I would recommend it. What about you? Have you eaten there?
I went there once since reopening. I went there once when I was a junior higher before it closed down.
Yeah.
But I can't speak much because I was just a junior higher when,
Yeah.
when I first went. But this last time I was really impressed. You know, there was a lot of good food. You know, and I'm excited to go back there soon eventually. You know, there is a lot. You know, and you know,
Yeah.
I'm glad to see it it's come
Finally
back.
coming back, for sure. Coming up, we'll talk about the 2 pranksters that are now banned from Vivint Arena.
And the Caesars Award protest. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Special Agent Diana Barrigan from the TV show White Collar. Did you know that it wasn't until 1972 that the first female earned an FBI Special Agent badge? Now, women are helping solve crimes around the world in faraway places like Sarajevo, New Delhi, Lagos, and Tbilisi. To all our women fighting crime at home and overseas, thank you for keeping us safe. Happy anniversary.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
What do you think it would be like to teach? Chances are, you have no idea. Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places, and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable. That's what it's like to teach.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
The Nevada caucuses. Voters across the state arrived at their local caucus on February 22nd. Reports from the voting revealed that Bernie Sanders took the lead, gaining approximately 24 delegates. Bernie Sanders celebrated the victory at a Texas rally.
Popular vote in Iowa. We won the New Hampshire primary. And according to 3 networks in the AP, we have now won the Nevada caucus. Let me thank the people of Nevada for their support. In Nevada, we have just put together a multi-generational, multi-racial coalition, which is going to not only win in Nevada, it's going to sweep this country.
Voters across the United States, including Utah residents, are voting today for Super Tuesday. Super Tuesday is a day where the majority of the U.S. states hold primary elections and caucuses. Utah is one of 14 states, along with America Samoa, and voters abroad that participate in Super Tuesday. Voters with mail-in ballots should drop off their ballot at a polling station or a drop box. Voting stations are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., and same-day registration is available at polling locations. To learn more, go to vote.utah.gov.
The Me Too movement in France is newly motivated after Roman Polanski, widower of Sharon Tate and convicted child rapist, was given the top award for directing at the 45th Caesar Award ceremony on February 28th. Protesters gathered outside of the Salle Pleyel in Paris, turning over a signage for their award show and starting fires. Inside, a procession of people left the building after an announcement led by nominated actress Adina Ainel, herself a survivor of child sexual assault at the hands of director Christophe Ruggia. Following closely behind was the director Celine Sciamma and the rest of the crew of her film, Portrait of Lady on Fire. As Ainel left, she yelled out shame, and after exiting the auditorium, she clapped sarcastically and shouted, "Well done, pedophilia." This comes after President Emmanuel Macron has promised to tackle violence against women since his election in 2017, but so far policies have failed to deliver.
Residents of central Tennessee are recovering after severe storms, and at least one tornado ripped across the region late last night and early this morning. The storms left numerous homes and buildings destroyed in several counties, and tens of thousands are out of power. The National Weather Service reported the path of the storms stretched across 145 miles of the state. As a result, the death toll has risen to 22 individuals, and another 150 have been taken to hospitals.
On Monday, February 24th, Katherine Johnson passed away at 101. Johnson was a NASA mathematician whose calculations helped out a man to the moon, but the first American in space, and worked on many other flight paths of NASA. Johnson started working at NASA in 1953, and her work was so perfect when in 1962 NASA was preparing for the orbital mission of John Glenn. Glenn stated, quote, "If she says they're good, then I'm ready to go." Ending with the flight being the success and the inspiration behind the film Hidden Figures, based on Johnson and other women working at NASA at the time. She was working at NASA at the time when only 2% of African American women were attending college. In 2015, Johnson was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Barack Obama.
Was to answer questions. And I did that to the best of my ability at all times. I liked what I was doing. I liked work. I liked the stars and stories we were telling. And it was a joy.
Bob Chapek is Disney's new CEO, as former CEO Bob Iger has stepped down. According to CNN, in an announcement by the board of directors, Bob Chapek is the new CEO and replaces Iger in the position. Prior to his position as CEO, Chapek served as the chairman of Disney Parks, Experiences, and Products. The now former CEO, Iger, has assumed the role of executive chairman and will direct the company's creative endeavors moving forward.
After successfully sneaking into Vivint Smart Home Arena, two 19-year-olds will be nearing the age of 50 before being allowed to return. Pranksters Corey Wynn and Damon Memert received a 30-year ban from the Salt Lake City venue where the Utah Jazz play after the duo posed a ready ice delivery man and simply walked into the lower security entrance. The two men's YouTube channel and Instagram handle, Speedy and the G, are loaded with other prank-style content where a hidden camera records the pranksters as they intentionally cause a public stir. Wynn told KSL reporters that he and Memert, both graduates of Lone Peak High School, became bored after getting into the arena, so they pushed the limits of the prank to see how far they could go before getting caught. The two made it all the way onto the Jazz court before arousing suspicion and being escorted out by the employees, but not before they were slapped by a 3-decade ban. Yikes.
That's awful for them. You know?
That is awful.
I mean, it's criminal activity, but they had some courage to actually try and pull it off.
I mean, yeah.
You know,
I might go check out their channel and Instagram just to see what they're up to.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly, I think it's worth a watch now, and I'm definitely gonna look it up too. It's interesting, and I sure hope they aren't Jazz fans, because
I know, I was gonna say
even
that.
sports fans in general, because it's a fun atmosphere.
That would be too bad.
To wait 30 years for another one, that's the
yeah.
So, Kane, what do you have coming up in the weather?
We have got a beautiful week coming up ahead. Stay tuned after the break.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back to SUTV. I'm Caden Smith. We have got some beautiful weather coming up in southern Utah, and here in Cedar City it's a beautiful 48 degrees and sunny. It feels like 44, so the temperatures are pretty mild here. The high today is expected to be 52 with a low of 24. So again, those mild temperatures, and we do have some slight wind that is moving to the north-northeast with a UV index of 5 out of 10. So it's pretty decent weather outside. And as we look into the rest of the week, we do have sunny skies. And as we move closer into the weekend, we will see some clouds move into the area. Now, these clouds don't have a chance of bringing any precipitation, but they will provide some shade, and we will get to the mid and high 50s during the remainder of the week. Now, if you do plan on traveling to St. George, we have beautiful weather right there. We have 63 degrees and sunny. This is beautiful weather to go out and take a hike if you're going to go biking. The high today is 68 with a low of 39, and there is some slight wind, so that will be a condition that might affect your hike if you go. And as we look further into the week, those conditions are going to get even better. It will be sunny with some clouds moving in as well. We will reach the mid to upper 70s, which is going to be great spring weather if you're looking to go out to the outdoors. The clouds will move in, but will provide some shade over the weekend, and by the end of the week we will get into the mid 60s. If you're looking to go up to Bryan Head, we are currently at 34 degrees, so it's a little chilly there. It feels like 26 because of the wind chill, and so you are going to need to bundle up. The high today is 34 with a low of 12, so these colder conditions are going to make it a little bit more chilly, especially with a humidity of 50%. Looking to the rest of the week, we do have sunny conditions with the clouds moving in, but we will only reach the mid-40s by the middle of the week and end of the week. So make sure you do bundle up if you are planning to go to Bryan Head. And just to look at some historical weather from the area, this is 75 years ago today, and St. George and Cedar City are both over 10 degrees of what they were at the time. Cedar City is looking at 12 degrees higher and St. George is 20. And so these warmer temperatures are going to provide great weather for you to go out and participate in springtime activities. If you're going to go to St. George, you can go to the lake, you can go hiking or biking. If you're in Cedar City, go up to the sea on the hill. There's many things that you can do, especially in this springtime weather. And as we move into spring break, you've got a lot to look forward to. And that's going to do it for me. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks for the weather update, Caden.
Wow, there's some really warm weather coming up, and I saw those 70s in St. George. I might walk down there if I have to, because that is too tempting.
Yeah, perfect for spring break coming up.
Exactly, and I might end up staying in Cedar, and if it's cold, I might just go down to St. George and stay there. There's nothing else to do. So, especially with that weather, it's easy. Even if you're not doing much, just being in it, it's definitely a lot better. I can't wait for this warmer weather and spring coming up.
I know.
Connor, what do we have coming up in sports?
Yeah, we have the last 2 games of women's basketball this season. I'll tell you all about it after the break.
Awesome.
Thank you, dear. Oh, you're very supple. Just like I was at your age. Back then, I was a sex expert. Used to call me the buttered biscuit. I know about birth control, too. So you can ask me anything, baby.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
Have you had sex in this car yet?
Toxic chemicals and carcinogens are leaching into the environment. It's happening right where we live, work, and play. Everywhere. Cigarette butts are toxic waste. Let's stop the toxic litter. Learn more at rethinkbutts.org.
On average, I spend 8 hours a week on the road. It's important to me to make the right choices when I drive. And she's the reason why I support MAD.
Don't let E. coli mosh with your food. An estimated 3,000 Americans die from a foodborne illness each year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So always separate raw meat from vegetables. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back to SUTV Sports. I'm Connor Sanders. Southern Utah men's basketball played their last home contest of the season last week. The T-Birds took on conference leaders Eastern Washington on Thursday, but couldn't keep pace with the Eagles and eventually fell 69-51. Dwayne Morgan opened the scoring with that three-point shot from behind the arc, and then John Knight III followed that up with a tough finish in traffic, but that basket was the final time the T-Birds would hold a lead in the game. The Eagles went on a 14-5 run over the next 8 minutes, and the T-Birds never fully recovered. Cameron Leeton finished a tough layup to pull up the T-Birds within 4 in the end of the first half, but the Eagles carried a 26-18 lead into the break. The Thunderbirds started the second half strong, and a breakaway dunk by John Knight the third cut the lead to 3. That's as close as the T-Birds would come, though, as Eastern Washington went on a 15-6 run and built a 10-point lead late in the second half. There were some late-game fireworks from John Knight, who finished the game with 13 points, but the Eagles persevered and won by 18. The T-Birds bounced back quickly for senior night on Saturday against the University of Idaho. Seniors Andre Adams, David Njai, Dwayne Morgan, and Cameron Leeton were honored before their last game at the Verica First Event Center. It was a blowout win for the T-Birds, taking it 87-55. Leeton finished with 22 points, and Morgan added 10 points and 4 rebounds. All 12 of SU's active players got into the game. The T-Birds bench broke out some new celebrations to highlight and celebrate the big win. Thunderbirds moved to 15-14 overall and 8-10 in conference play after their final homestand. SU is currently in 7th place in the Big Sky Conference and will travel to Montana State and Montana to close out the season this weekend. SU women's basketball is coming off a split weekend, picking up a win against Eastern Washington on Thursday, but falling to Idaho on Saturday. SU started out slow, only mustering 8 points in the first quarter, but it turned turned things into high gear to come away with a 70-67 victory. All 5 of the Thunderbird starters ended the game with 10 or more points. Leading the way was Shaylin Fanu, who had 15 points, also picking up 10 rebounds on her way to a double-double. Thunderbirds then flew to Moscow to take on the Idaho Vandals, but came away with a 57-70 loss. A cold second period doomed SUU as they were only put up 4 points to Idaho's 14. They picked up the pace in the third quarter, breaking out with 25 points, but it wasn't enough to come away with a win. Despite the loss, Rebecca Cardenas led all scorers in the game with 25 points, while adding 8 rebounds and 5 steals to her stat line. Jessica Chapman also had a solid game for the T-Birds with 10 points and 13 rebounds on her way to a double-double. SU now returns home for their final 2 games of the season before traveling to Boise, Idaho for the Big Sky Conference Tournament. The team will now prepare for their final regular season games, looking to move into the 5th spot in the Big Sky Conference standings. SU will take on league-leading Montana State Bobcats on Wednesday and the Montana Grizzlies on Friday. The T-Birds lost to both teams when they faced them in January, losing 81-74 to the Grizzlies and 91-65 to the Bobcats. The T-Birds are the only 1 game behind the Grizzlies for the 5th place in the Big Sky Conference standings, meaning Friday's matchup will be even more important for the team. SU has clinched at least the 6th spot in the conference, owning the tiebreaker over UNC after their season sweep of the team. If the T-Birds fail to get the 5 seed, they'll most likely face off against the Weber State Wildcats on Monday in the Big Sky Conference Tournament. That's all I've got for you today. For SUTV Sports, I'm Connor Sanders. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks for a sports update, Connor. When we come back, we'll catch up with the race for what's going on around campus. Stay tuned.
Good. Homemade noodles. Oh. Marty, stop it. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. It reminds me, I've been thinking maybe we should try a new form of birth control. I heard about this one. It's called the IUD, intrauterine device. Or we could try the patch on your arm. Actually, I think that one goes on your butt.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
What do you think, then? Arm or the butt?
Listen up. Each year, hundreds of promising research studies go unfunded for breast cancer, for lung cancer, every cancer. The American Cancer Society has been behind nearly every breakthrough in recent history. But there's still more work to do. So let's make sure that no research is silenced. Let's make noise. Let's make noise. Yeah. And let's finish the fight.
Welcome back to SUTV.
Race, what's going on around campus?
Welcome to Campus Happenings. I'm Race Knutson. It's currently Business Week at SUU, with daily activities hosted by the Dixie Levitt School of Business. Remaining events this week include a Minute to Win It competition tomorrow from 11 to 1 in the Business Lobby, a Lunch and Learn on March 5th from 11:30 to 12:20 in the Business Building Room 238, which will feature a Young Marketing Professionals panel, and the Business Palooza, which will be held on the Business Quad from 11 to 1 on Friday, March 6th. Entrepreneurship Showcase, a club/resource fair, and food trucks. Coming up in just a few hours from the Student Programming Board, we'll be holding an epic laser tag battle in the Student Center from 7 to 9. In T-Bird sports, this week the women's basketball team will take on 2 different Montana opponents at home in the America First Event Center. The first matchup will be against Montana State University on March 4th at 6:30 p.m. and the second against the University of Montana Grizzlies March 6th, also at 6:30 p.m. SUU Women's Network is celebrating International Women's Day, a global day celebrating the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women by hosting a lunch social on Friday, March 6th at 12 to 1:30 p.m. in the Whiting Room located in the Hunter Conference Center. The Student Programming Board will be hosting another casino night on March 6th from 9 to 11:30 p.m. in the Sharwin Smith Student Center, inspired by the Casino Royale James Bond theme. That's all I have for you today. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks for tuning in. That's all we have for you today. I'm Thomas Dianella.
I'm Caden Smith.
I'm Connor Sanders.
And I'm Olivia Thornock. Tune back in on Thursday for our sports show.
Well, that's what we would usually do, but we got a little bit extra time to fill. Looking forward to SU basketball this week.
Thank you.